All right. And now while I have time to kill, I want to talk about the different type of workers that I've run across. Okay. Went ahead and wrote it all out on my cup. It's probably upside down, backwards. But anyway, all right. Let's start off with the swiper. Now, the swiper, okay, I want to see what I wrote. Lays in wait to swipe. Now, the swiper, what they like to do is when you're about to grab something, they like to swoop in up under you and grab it first. Okay? When something like, we all have the same materials or whatever, it's coming down a line. Anybody work in a warehouse, you know how lines work. Okay, But anyway, something may be coming to you, something may be coming to me, but the swiper doesn't want what's close to them, what's near them. Swiper wants to come over to you and swipe, take it. If your hand's on it, they want to snatch it out of your hand, and a lot of us, we don't like this, A lot of us are like, come on now. Who likes to feel anything being, snatched out of their hand, or you see me going down for it? I've literally had to look over here because I know they're watching your eyes, can't wait to just swoop in up under you or something, and it's look, we have to do this 8 to 9 hours, every day, 5 days a week, sometimes overtime, you know what I'm saying? Please, let's make this as cumbersome, not so cumbersome. I don't know what cumbersome list is. I was about to try to say all that, but anyway. So I've had to literally look over there and move my hand over here to fool the swiper. I'm like, well, I have to, play mind games. Okay. Then we got the next best thing, the toucher. Now, the toucher finds any excuse to, touch you. Any excuse. Their product goes past them, they got to reach over and touch you. They're talking to somebody, their elbow has to come out and touch you. They need something which they don't really need because it's something behind them, but they don't want it what's behind them. They want to reach over, by you and touch. They got these sharp nails. They want to and touch. We work in the cold, so things hitting your hand abruptly, it makes a difference. It's painful. Anybody live in cold weather, you know what I'm saying. You ever been outside and had to work in the cold and hit something, fingernails and knuckles, all that hurts when your hands are cold, and then it's jarring, to say the least, okay? That's the toucher, constant contact, or it likes to poke you in the back. Instead of saying, excuse me, or pardon me, something to get your attention, they can't wait to, tap your shoulder, things like that. Then I'm wrong when I say, please, I don't like to be touched, and especially since COVID, once COVID hit and everything was passed with contact and everything, touching went out of the window for me, especially unexpected, unexplained touches, okay. Get along. Then you got the careless worker. This person, they don't care. They just want their check. They don't care if the stuff looks neat. Let's just say we're folding paper airplanes. They'll fold them as raggedy as possible. They don't care if it's neat. They don't care if it flies. I did my part. C- to D- work. Just enough not to get fired. Okay? Then you got the rude, mannerless worker. Now, this worker, I'm not going to say they don't work hard, but if they see you standing somewhere, they'll power bulldoze LeBron James style past you. And then they want to push, you're in my way. It's a couple of supervisors who do this, and they, push you're in my way. They're swinging their arms. I call it stompy style. Because the arms are swinging wide. And I'm like, ma'am, your arms are wider than your body. and you're walking through a narrow passageway. So if I'm walking through a narrow passageway, I'd make myself a little smaller, or say excuse me as I'm going past, because I might have to make contact. You can't just power those through, wildly. The rude worker also, if something of theirs goes past, kind of like the swiper and the constant contact person, the rude person, will reach over you. Like, they don't care if they pull your arm back. It's one of those things that could, get you in trouble. So I try to put distance between me and that person. I cut out all laugh, all jokes, all everything when I'm near one of those type of people, the rude and the mannerless. I almost rather have somebody who didn't care, with the D- work. At least they're not trying to be all over me. Okay. Then you got the co-worker. The co-worker does a fine job, doesn't really do anything extra. They don't go above and beyond. But if they see someone else taking initiative, they'll, normally join in. They'll join in, they'll put forth the team effort, and then once it's no longer needed, they go back. They're here to do their work. They're not obtrusive or anything else, and if you need something or ask for something, they say excuse me and everything else. They just don't go above and beyond or anything. Okay, then I had something I must have forgot. This is going to be a long one. The competitor. Now, the competitor, they want to try to outwork you, outperform you. They don't really cooperate. They're doing all this, extra stuff. And to the point that, let's just say it's tennis, for example. It's a 2-person teamwork. They want to be in the right square when you're in the right square. If you move to the left, they jump over to the left. They're in front of you. They're all over the court. They don't let you play your position. So, because they're being competitive. They want to win. They want to get it. But as long as you're looking, if you're like, oh, okay, well, you got it, and clasp your hands or turn your head away, then they start dropping the ball. They start fumbling. They can't keep it up. They're not as motivated or at least if they don't have an audience, or if you're not watching them. They're not motivated. And like I say, they want to beat you and everything, but here's the thing. If they're all alone and they're working, there's none of that going on. There's no excessiveness. They're not over the top. They're just boring. You walk past when it's just them, they're boring. Because, I guess they need someone to compete against to bring it out of them. And then you have what I consider myself, the grandstander, wherever that is. Maybe I didn't write that out as much. But anyway, you have the grandstander, and that's me. Oh, okay, I did write it. I know it's like chicken scratch. I got A's on my reports, but they would end up being a B+, because they'd say, the teachers would be like, presentation's everything, which has affected me mentally. But anyway, I'm a grandstander. We do extra. We like to repair other people's work. We'll pick up the slack for people, but with finesse. When I do things, I like to keep my ladylikeness while I'm working. I've always been drawn to ballet. I never took it or whatever, but as a toddler and everything, I walked on my tippy toes pretty much. I started out basically on my tippy toes. And then I don't know, when I was maybe 8 or 9, I started learning to kind of flatten them down, but I still always raise up, even as an adult, on my tippy toes. It's just, something in me that I always got to get on my toes. So, but that allows me to, spin and be agile and et cetera, et cetera. Like I say, I don't mind picking up the slack. I don't mind doing extra, whatever, because I just like being the bomb, a beast, when I'm working. Whether I'm, icing cakes. At one point, I used to pack cigarettes. Like, whatever I do, I have to go above, beyond, halfway juggling and all that kind of stuff because, I like the feeling. I like the muscle memory. I don't know. It just almost feels poetic. I don't need anybody to watch me. I don't care if I'm in a room by myself, I'm going to do it. I don't care who's standing there, I'm going to do it. But the difference is when I'm working with someone, I remain cooperative. I make sure I continue to communicate. Like I'll say, hey, let me get this next few. And then I'll say, oh, are you going to get the next few? For example, like, oh, okay, all righty. I need to sneeze. Excuse me. Let me turn away. And now it's on you. Same thing about you. Like, oh, maybe something's in my eye. Like, hold on a second. It's all about communication, ebb and flow. All right. Anyway.